Hello and welcome all of you to the mains PYQ discussion by New IAS. The theme for today's video is Stone Age, and this is a theme from Art and Culture of GS1 paper. The question is a 12.5 marker from the 2015 mains. It goes like this. Mesolithic rock-cut architecture of India not only reflects the cultural life of the times but also the fine aesthetic sense comparable to modern painting. Critically evaluate the comment. Now, this question has to be dissected. First, it talks about a time period, which is Mesolithic rock cut architecture. Then it says that it not only reflects the cultural life of the times, but also the fine aesthetic sense. So, cultural life, aesthetic sense, and its comparison with modern painting. So, this can be taken together and we have to critically evaluate. So, I'll say this question is not that easy. It has to be articulated well with a proper comparison, which is not that easy to draw. Because first of all, you should factually know what Mesolithic painting is. Then you have to make a comparison with modern painting's aesthetic sense. So this question can be categorized in the difficult category in art and culture theme. Now we have started this question with an introduction where we will mark the period, which is the Mesolithic period here. Mesolithic period is a transition period from old Stone Age, which is Paleolithic period, to new Stone Age, which is Neolithic period. This is the transition period. So we'll mark this period as a transition period and we'll give the time period of that as well, which is 10,000 to 2000 BCE, before Common Era. We have the scope of a map here. We will give the diagram of India here and we'll give the map and of sites in India. Some of the examples, at least you have to write two examples here. One is Bhimbeka from Madhya Pradesh. Second is Bagor from Rajasthan. If you can remember more, give the sites from Uttar Pradesh, which is Sarai Nahar Rai and Morhana Paha. Then we have sites in Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat and Odisha. So at least 3-4 sites have to be given in the map. Now that will act as a value addition for a question like this. We have three parts to this structure. First, we will talk about the cultural life of the times, which the question itself talks about. Second, we'll talk about the comparison, the fine aesthetic comparison with modern painting. That's the second part. Then we'll also mark the uniqueness of modern painting. So modern painting is not entirely comparable to Mesolithic painting. There are some unique pointers as well. So we'll give that as a third part. So these are the third parts and then we'll conclude the answer. Coming to the first part, what are the cultural aspects reflected? What are the cultural aspects reflected in the Mesolithic painting? For example, the first thing, the very act of rock cave paintings reflects a practice of that period. So people used to record their past through rock cave paintings. So that's the reflection of their culture. So right now we record our times through social media, through videos, through writings, through literature. So at that time they used to do this. So this is the first takeaway. Second is the reflection of their daily life, including activities like hunting and dancing. So this occupied majority of their times, hunting and dancing, and most of the paintings reflects this theme. The third thing is about their social life, the various things that they engaged in. So the social life of Mesolithic people are limited and the activities that they had were sexual activities, childbirth, child rearing and funeral ceremonies. So these are the themes that are reflected with respect to social life in the Mesolithic paintings. And finally, the reflection of their natural world. So something that they observed and wanted to record includes animals and rivers. So these are the themes from the Mesolithic painting that reflects the cultural life of their times. That's the first part. Then we'll move to the second part, which is the comparison with modern aesthetics. As I told before, it's a difficult part to articulate. So we have found three key points here. First is the understanding of the composition, proportion and visual storytelling, which both modern paintings as well as Mesolithic painting possesses. So the composition means how a particular picture is composed. Proportion means their understanding of, for example, if the human figure is there, the proportion between head, hand, toe, legs, everything should be fine. So this is proportion is something that is very peculiar to modern painting as well. So this can be seen in Mesolithic painting as well. Then it's about visual storytelling. So if you take something like a narrative relief in the modern age, the same thing can be seen in Mesolithic period as well. Then the second point is about symbols, symbolism, using symbols to convey meanings. This can be seen in periods throughout history in the modern times as well. For example, let's take the Buddhist period or the Ajanta caves, for example, which was composed in 1st century AD, 1st century BC to 5th century AD. During that time as well, you can see symbols being used to communicate stories and to represent abstract ideas. So these are the key terms that you have to bring in here. And finally, the paintings are aimed to evoke emotions, spark imagination, and to connect with the viewer in a deeper level. These are things of aesthetics in the modern paintings as well. Now, what are the elements of modern paintings that Mesolithic painting doesn't possess? First is the texture and color. Modern painting is so sophisticated that Mesolithic painting has no comparison when it comes to the texture and color. In those times, it was just use of natural paints, natural colors on rough walls. Now it is much more fine-tuned. And the second point, the Mesolithic paintings are rooted in functional and ritualistic purpose, whereas modern painting has no such purpose. It is completely for aesthetics. So these are the two fundamental factors that marks the departure. These are the factors that marks the convergence. So we present this answer as a three-styled structure, and hence we can address this question holistically. And we'll conclude this with the transition towards Neolithic period. So after Mesolithic comes the Neolithic period, where we can see settled civilizations, discovery of agriculture, and transition to artistic expressions like sculpture and pottery. So we'll end the answer like this, and hence a 12.5 marker can be addressed in a holistic way. Thank you for listening.